They did say this on the coverage, and I've totally forgotten. They said it at half time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Oh, flipping heck. He's won it 3 times. Well, I can't remember his name.
I have no idea why you can't remember the name Sean Long, but you would have thought, being a Bradford fan, you would be able to remember his name.
It's because I've blocked the name of that gobshite out of my mind.
There you go. Okay.
Sean Long, there you go. Cool.
I think that quiz was easier than last week's, though. I think we can agree on
that. It was. Yeah, it was. You did me a solid service.
You got sort of 4 out of 5 on the players, and you got the connection, so that was solid performance, I would suggest. Okay. Do you have any recommendations for us this week, Alan?
Just one, and I've only watched the first episode, but it's hardly a new recommend. I spotted, because I was looking for something to watch on the train down to London Village this week, or this weekend, so I spotted that the original House of Cards was on iPlayer. So I downloaded the first episode of that and thoroughly enjoyed that. So I think it's on there for a little while.
Is that the Kevin Spacey thing?
No, not the Kevin Spacey one. The original BBC one, which was from 1990. I wouldn't endorse watching any Kevin Spacey projects. Yeah. No, it was the original BBC one adaptation from I think it was a book originally. So yeah, it's about 1990, 1991, but it's very good. So that's it's on iPlayer at the moment, so it's worth checking out if you haven't already seen it. As I say, it's 28 years old, so a lot of people will have already seen it. But there you go.
Okay, mine is TV related as well, and it's a series that's just finished, and I think probably this series was the final season of the show. I think, and that's the show called The Affair. Now, I'll have mentioned this a few years ago when it first started, but it's been shown on Sky Atlantic in this country, so I'm guessing if you're a Sky TV person, you'll be able to get it there. I'm sure it's on other channels of viewing as well somehow. But it's been a great show, and it's been the way it's done the storytelling. It's kind of told you different people's versions of the same event, and then there was a really weird twist in the penultimate episode where it showed the same person's version of the same events differently, which was very strange, and it still left a lot of questions, and it's a show that always makes you question what the reality is, which is quite an interesting way to play things out. So that was very good show, and I'd recommend watching it. And also I'd love people's theories on which version of the penultimate episode was the truth or not. It's very interesting anyway, I would suggest. So that is my recommends, The Affair. Okay, next week we've got Tim G back, so we'll hear all about his diving weekend, I think, is where he's been this weekend. That's why he wasn't part of the Challenge Cup party. So we'll hear from Tim. It'll be great to have him back. He's been had a few weeks off. People can make donations to the show using paypal.me/Super League Pod. Those donations, obviously, as we've covered many times before, go into the running costs of the show. They go towards sort of helping me build up some new equipment and maybe a bit of stock on the merchandise side of things, of course, because anyone who makes more than a £20 donation will be entitled to a free t-shirt. And yeah, also if you want to help support the show financially, if you're looking to buy any international rugby league gear, head over to Mascot Browns, but do so using the affiliates link that will be embedded within the post for the podcast episode, which you'll find on superleaguepod.com. So you can find the show at Super League Pod on Twitter or Instagram. It's facebook.com/SuperLeaguePod. You can email us, send over your clips about your memories of the show, your favourite episodes, your favourite bits and that sort of stuff for ahead of episode 200. Send those to superleaguepod@gmail.com. Superleaguepod.com is where you'll find the blog. Search for the show on Spreaker, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Leaguecast Android app, Podcast Addict, rugbyleaguemedia.com and YouTube. or of course it's audio only. We're not one of these new fancy-fangled video shows that are all over the place these days. We don't have that capability. We are faces for radio. But yeah, that's pretty much it from... Do you know what we didn't talk about, actually? We didn't really talk about our days at the Challenge Cup final, did we?
No, not at all. We
didn't do that bit, which we normally do.
We went straight into the game, yeah.
So my day on Saturday started with about a 6 o'clock alarm. Then my first leg of my journey was to drive from Kirkham to Up Holland to pick Cass up. Then we did Up Holland to High Wycombe, stopping at some services on the M40 along the way. That was full of a lot of Wire fans. I think we just got there ahead of a good bunch of them, which meant that we got to the toilets pretty safely. And then we landed at High Wycombe. We went from High Wycombe train station into Wembley Stadium train station, and then that was where the real fun sort of began. So me and Cass first of all went up to the Green Man pub, which I didn't realise was up quite such a hill. All the times I've been to Wembley, I've never been to that particular pub, but that had a really good atmosphere in the beer garden there. There was fans of all sorts of clubs. I mean, me and Cass were sort of ticking off the jerseys of all the different sides. I think the only one we didn't see up there was a Salford shirt. I think we saw every other Super League club and quite a few of the Championship clubs and a few League One clubs as well. There was a good group of Catalan supporters there. There was a bit of back and forth singing and that sort of stuff, which was very fun. So we had a beer up there. Then we went back down to just around the retail park and that sort of stuff to meet up with some listeners, which kind of would be where you came into my story. We met Paul O'Brien and his family. We met the Nadins, Phil and Nikki. We saw Dom Hodgson and his granddad John. We also saw you.
We did.
And Ben Thaler, who was not part of the Super League pod party, but he walked past us, so I got a picture with Ben Thaler. There you go.
Well, obviously I saw that picture, and I had to double check. When you see somebody not wearing, kind of like a referee's uniform, you're like, oh, that's Ben Thaler. Totally didn't recognise him at first.
Well, he was with Steve Ganson as well, so there was like...
It was the posse was coming in.
Yeah, you could sort of like spot what was going on. So that was where you came into our thing. We sort of had chat, had sweets, how delightful Paul's little kids are, and all of that. And Dom just about got there before we were all rolling into to watch and most of us to enjoy our Club Wembley seats and the extra sort of calmness of that atmosphere and the nicer surroundings, which I must say, last year I didn't really take him in as much. I probably was a little bit more drunk and a little bit more nervous and anxious because it was obviously Wigan playing in that final, but this year there was a lot for me to enjoy in that sort of relaxed atmosphere, building up and having a beer and stuff, so I very much enjoyed that. What was your day? Take us through your day.
Okay, so my day started a bit earlier. So I was on the 5:30 train out of Leeds. So it was God, I can't remember what time my alarm went off. It was about 4:10, something like that. So it was a really long day. So train from Leeds all the way down. It was obviously at that time in the morning. It was really quiet and kind of very civilised. So that was quite good. So I was down King's Cross at 10 to 8, so I had a fair bit of time, and I always try to when I'm kind of down there, I always try to tie it in with something else, try and do something around the game as much as going to the game. So as I was saying to you, I had a nice breakfast, kind of nice vegan friendly breakfast, kind of booked in, and went and did that in Bayswater, which was really nice. And then I had to wander through Kensington Gardens, through towards Kensington Palace and the Albert Memorial and Serpentine Gallery and kind of Albert Hall and all around there. So and then kind of got on a bit of tourism kind of stuff, kind of bit of London that I haven't seen very much before, and hopped on a Boris bike and cycled around the park, down past Buckingham Palace, down the Mall, dropped that off in Leicester Square, went to Oxford's. Yeah, I went to Oxford Street, did a bit of shopping, got some lunch, and then got the tube up to Wembley Park. So when you kind of said, "Oh, there you are," it was like, it's because I'd had like a full day.
Yeah.
I always kind of make a point of doing that, of making something out of the day as much as kind of the game. It's, the game's the centre point to it. It's not the. I always try to do something around it. So yeah, and then I was back on the hot-footed it as soon as I kind of saw the final whistle. I kind of hot-footed it out just to get, because I did have a relatively kind of soon train booked back, and I was a bit concerned about getting out of there and stuff. But yeah, then I was back at King's Cross and back up north, and so it was a good day. It was a long day. I mean, I think I got back here at, I think it was about 11 o'clock. Bear in mind I'd set off at 4 o'clock. So.
Just after 11 o'clock when I got home. Cass had been drinking whilst I was driving, and he'd managed to. We'd stopped for some food at the M6 toll on the way back, and the service is there, and then he fell asleep pretty much once we got off the toll road. So I had an hour of driving him back home on my own with him sort of asleep, and then another half an hour after that getting back to my house on my own. But about just after 11 o'clock I think I got home. Do you know, anyone who suggests that we move the Challenge Cup final from Wembley, I just can't get my head around that way of thinking, Alan. I absolutely love. I don't think if it was a neutral venue up north, I'm not sure I would have gone to the final as a neutral. If it was at City's ground or Old Trafford or something like that, I'm not convinced I would have gone to the event. I love the whole day, the whole journey, the whole anticipation of it. I am getting more and more disappointed every time I arrive at Wembley and can't see the stadium, because that's becoming an increasingly key feature.
Buried in development, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so built up now, and there's going to be even more. I mean, there's a ton of what I think of flats gone up, since last year even. So it's a bit crazy in that regard, but. Obviously, there's becoming more and more and more to do around the ground. By the time next year comes around, there'll be even more to do around the ground, which is great, because you can take your family and they can go shopping and things like that whilst you watch the game. If your partner, if your wife, your husband, or whatever isn't as into the games as you are, there's loads of other stuff going on now that people can go to, which I think is absolutely, fantastic that they've built it up. It's just a little bit sad that the stadium isn't the centrepiece, and it physically sort of is still, but it isn't. You can't see it from everywhere. You can just get a glimpse maybe of the arch from like the train station in particular, obviously down Wembley Way, which apparently now is called Olympic Way. I'm not sure what the deal is there, but has it always been called that?
I don't know. It'll always be Wembley Way as far as I'm concerned.
So obviously down that way you still get a view, but it's getting more and more built up. But any idea that it's not where the final should be, even if it was just over 50,000 there this year, even so, I know it's expensive and all of that. I think we need to get it in our diaries. We need to get it organised and get down, because it's such a great day. It's such a great experience. And seeing all the fans, I mean, walking around, seeing Catalan fans, seeing... you see a lot of celebrities as well. Celebrities in a rugby league sense walking around. I saw Oliver Ellimer leading a group of Catalan fans around, going up to the pub. We saw like Andy Lynch. We saw one of the March brothers. I can't tell you which one, which is why I didn't go and try and get a picture. We saw Gareth Walker, the journalist, who's been on one of the SLP shorts earlier in the year, so it was really nice to see him in person. We saw like the referee cohort as well, the video referee and that sort of stuff, which was really cool. We saw a lot of people walking past us, which was really nice, as well as all the different fans, all the different colours, all the different sorts of people, from people who were already hammered at 1 o'clock to people who were never going to be hammered at any point but were having a great time, people wearing the Dragon for a Day shirts, people wearing all the different club colours. I lost count by the end of the amount of clubs I saw, but I definitely saw, I saw all 3 of the Cumbrian clubs, for example.
Yeah.
I saw lots of York shirts, Featherstone shirts. I pretty much saw every club, I'd say, from the Championship handled Super League by the end of the day. Probably not all the League ones. I can't remember seeing any West Wales, but I saw some Welsh tops. So I did see some Welsh shirts. I saw everything. It was fantastic. And a whole range of international ones as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay. There's the celebrity. When he said the celebrity things, it reminded me of something. So there's